me ask you something. When was the last time you truly felt in control of your restaurant? Not just getting through the lunch rush or putting out a fire this week, but actually in total control of what it was that was going on. You know exactly what your food cost was. You know whether your labor was running on target. You knew which of your locations were performing and which ones needed your attention. Before you got to the end of the month and your accountant told you whether you made money or not, where were you at when you knew everything that was going on down to the day and really even the shift? The one thing I hear from restaurant operators, whether they're running one location or 30, is that they feel like they're often at the behest of the business and that the business is running them instead of them running their business. And in my experience in this industry, with thousands of conversations that I've had in every stage of growth, this feeling almost always comes down to the same thing. They're missing one of the 5 essential systems that you need. In today's episode, we are going to talk about those systems that every single operator needs in order to know where they're at within each restaurant to know what's going on. Hi there. My name is Julian. I'm the host of the Restaurant Technology Guys podcast, now with over 300 episodes. I'm also the Chief Revenue Officer at CBS Northstar, where we built the Northstar point of sale solution for multi-units. I have spent over 30 years watching restaurants build incredible concepts. I've watched so many of them struggle as they continue to grow and continue to scale because they often miss one of these key systems. Today, I will walk you through the first 5 systems that every single restaurant should be considering putting into their brand. And more importantly, what are the things that they need to be thinking about when they're picking those systems? The first system that is the hub of your technology stack that every single brand needs to be thinking about is their point of sale. Obviously, I have a lot of experience in the point of sale space, and that's where I cut my teeth. But understanding that your point of sale is the hub where everything connects. Many of you already have a POS, and you just need to understand that there are a lot of different things that come and go from the POS. When I started in the business almost 30 years ago, it was something that was really just a cash register with a touchscreen on it. But nowadays, it is the central nervous system of everything that's going on within your tech stack. Every order, every punch in and punch out, every discount, every comp, every transaction, whether it's digital or in person, comes through your point of sale system. All of your sales data, everything runs through that POS, which means that if your POS is not set up properly and can't integrate those pieces and give you real-time visibility, if it can't push centralized menus, if you can't connect to your labor system and your loyalty package, you don't have a POS that's working with you. You have a POS that's working against you. I would even consider a liability if you don't have that. I talk with operators every day that are running 10, 15, 20 restaurants that have to dial in or have to get an Excel spreadsheet sent to them or have to look at a different system to understand what is going on within their brand. A modern day POS is pushing data to the cloud real time so that you can understand where you're at up to the minute. Many of them even are giving it to you in the palm of your hand on your smartphone or giving you real-time alerts to understand. Those that are stuck still looking at the POS data location by location and don't have a centralized view is a big piece of the modern day POS experience. And I would encourage all of you that don't have that to consider it. I would ask yourself, if your POS went down this evening and you weren't able to take those transactions, how much would it cost you? How much is it costing you to not understand where you're at for today's lunch shift? How much is it costing you to not be able to integrate your third-party delivery platform or your online ordering platform? Picking the right POS is critical starting point for the first piece of tech that I would suggest that everybody reconsider. We've got lots of other videos on the channel that you can watch to talk about how to pick the right POS. We also published an ebook on how to go through the selection process if you're looking. The second solution that everybody needs to be considering is labor. Labor is either number 1 or number 2 of your prime cost that everybody is needing to worry about. It's really where the operators bleed out if they're not managing it properly. I would encourage all of you guys to consider labor is oftentimes your number 1 largest controllable cost, and it runs between 25 and 35% of your revenue. So depending upon what it is that you guys are thinking about, you have to manage that because it is a huge piece of cost within your business. And oftentimes a 1 or 2% difference in your labor costs can make a huge difference in the profitability of the restaurant on an annualized basis. And so you have to manage it back down to the shift. You have to manage it back down to the punch. So having the right labor management system is critical. One that also integrates with your point of sale to give you real-time visibility to your labor percentages by role, by day part, and gives you the ability to forecast what your labor needs to be is huge. Understanding that sales and labor are both critical pieces of what it is that you're doing. We talked about POS being at the beginning, labor being second. Understanding what's happening real time and being able to get that data, as well as having the managers having real time information at their fingertips is huge. Having a day by day or week by week forecast is really critical to understanding what's going on, but being able to manage your labor down to the shift and really down to even the hour is critical to making sure that you are hitting your targets and you can forecast, you can schedule, and your actuals hit. And if your sales are up, keeping labor on, and when your sales are down, being able to cut labor so that you're not paying unnecessary labor costs when your sales aren't hitting the targets that you need to. A properly set up and deployed labor management system connected to your scheduling, your timekeeping, and your POS data gives the managers the visibility to make the decisions that they need to, not after the fact, not at the end of the week, not at the end of the month, not at the end of a payroll period, but at the shift level. If your managers are making those labor decisions based on their gut without real-time data, you should be looking into a labor management system, and you need to ensure that it connects to your POS so you can be looking at real-time sales. The third thing, which goes to your margin stack and understanding how to make money, is your inventory management. A lot of different ways to call inventory management, but labor is a huge piece of the component. The other prime cost that you guys need to be thinking about is inventory. Everybody's watched the shows with Robert Irvine and Gordon Ramsay, where they go out and they talk about having too much food in the freezer, or stuff that's not, that's old, that they hadn't been managing. Understanding where you're at, what you're actually selling, how your usage is, and the variance each month is a critical piece. Again, food cost is oftentimes the first or second largest controllable expense within the restaurant, but so many operators don't even know what their food cost is, or have not been able to automate any of this, and they're still working off of a spreadsheet that's not connected to their point of sale and is not connected to what it is that they're selling. Huge opportunity for each of us there. It leaves tons of gaps if you're still not connected. You don't manage waste, you don't manage portioning, you don't manage usage. You could have hundreds, if not thousands of dollars walking out the back door every day without even knowing it. Also, when your costs are changing, we live in a volatile world. We're recording this video in 2026. Our food costs continue to change every single week. And so understanding where those food costs are, and should I keep a menu item on the front of the house menu? Should I change the price of that item based on what my costs are? Knowing those items is critical to maintaining profitability. If you are running a perpetual inventory system, you can learn where your profitability is, what your spend is, and where you're at before the accountant gives you your P&Ls at the end of the month. Understanding where food costs is being your third most critical system that you have there. Your food cost is not just a percentage, is not just a number on your P&L, but it is truly one of the pieces that you have to be managing in order to run a successful restaurant in today's day and age. The fourth system I would suggest that everybody needs, and it continues to get easier and easier than it was 25 or 30 years ago when I came into the business, but I talked about it earlier when we talked about POS, is the ability to have reporting and analytics. You can't control what you can't see. So not knowing where you're at to the day, even to the shift, and sometimes to the minute is critical. I've said it about POS, I've said it about labor, and I'll say it about inventory. Understanding what your reporting needs are and how you can analyze that data. More and more with the use of AI, you're able to analyze that data where you would have to sit down and people would be in the office for hours. You can now get to a point where if you've got a system that's collecting all of that data, many times it's the POS, but you need to consolidate POS, labor management, and inventory. If those things are all pulled together, being able to get a analytics engine that can help you make better business decisions so that you're collecting this data and then making business decisions on it is critical. I've talked to operators who are running 25 unit stores and they have no idea where they're at. They wait for somebody to send them an email with a report. that may or may not be there, may or may not be correct, may or may not be real time, and they struggle to be able to make a better business decision. I've seen even worse, where they might not see reports till the end of the week or the end of the month. Having a dashboard or having some way to be able to get to your data for sales, for labor and inventory management, location by location, day part by day part, is truly critical to be able to pivot with the nature of our business today. The operators that are winning right now are the ones that have visibility. They're not smarter than everyone else, but they are the ones that are working on their business, using the tools that are out there in today's day and age to make better decisions so that they can be more profitable at the end of the day and also deliver on the guest experience that they have all looked for. Visibility is not a luxury. It is the difference between running your business proactively or spending your time reacting to what things happened within your business. The fifth and last item that we're going to talk about on today is a guest experience and loyalty solution. And quite honestly, we talk about this often. There's lots of different philosophies on how you're going to do this, but guest experience could be just a feedback mechanism. It could be somebody managing your socials. It could be managing a full points-based, rewards-based loyalty package. Your guests are the lifeblood of what it is that you do. If you don't know who they are and what they are looking for, it is impossible to see around the corner and fulfill what it is that they're looking for and continue to deliver value. Here's what I know to be true. A guest who is engaged in your program visits more frequently. Some of the statistics in some brands talk about 50 to 70% more often. They spend more. They're less likely to leave. You understand what's going on. They're also going to give you feedback. That is not theory. That is data that we continue to see over and over and over again. It doesn't matter which solution you're using, understanding that you need to know who their guests are, what it is that they're looking for, when you perform, when you don't perform. It is critical to ensuring that you've got guest feedback system and a loyalty system to understand that. Here's where I see a problem. I often see people set up a loyalty program, send out birthday rewards and first-time guest rewards, and then come back to the loyalty provider and say, it didn't deliver results. At the end of the day, think about yourself. When do you sign up for loyalty programs? You sign up for loyalty programs when you are passionate about the brand, where you want that reward, where you want to feel heard, where you want to be able to feel like you're seen. Understanding that that's what the loyalty program is going to give you, and having somebody that can manage it, it is critical to staying up in today's day and age. It's really important to understand that it's not just points. It's not just your POS, tracking the data that's there, but doing something with that data, giving people surprise and delight, giving them the ability to feel special, being able to offer them something. And then when they have a challenge with the experience, because everybody struggles from time to time within their brand, being able to respond to that and give them something to make sure that they feel heard for when they came back. Nobody wants to be part of a loyalty punch card program where they just get the reward and then never hear from people again. Or the opposite. All they get is come back with no special reward, no special feeling, no special understanding of who it is that you are and what you value about that brand. You don't, your guests do not care about your technology. They don't care about your POS. All they care about is, did you deliver on the brand promise that they're looking for? And did you serve them how and when they were looking for it? And having a properly implemented loyalty solution allows you the opportunity to do that. So let's bring it all together. The 5 systems that every restaurant operator needs need to be put in place and need to be locked down. The first one, and I said it at the beginning, is your point of sale. It is the foundation of everything that you build on. Number 2 is your labor management system, real-time visibility into what it is that you're doing for your largest controllable costs oftentimes. The third is an inventory management package. Understanding where food costs is at, where your theoreticals and actuals are, is critical. The fourth issue and the fourth system that I think everybody needs is a reporting and analytics system, one dashboard that gives you the ability to make better business decisions. And the fifth and final solution that every single brand needs is a strategy and a system for guest experience and loyalty. None of these are complicated in and of themselves, but when you get all 5 working together, integrated and connected in a single coherent way, it is huge. And it's a huge piece of technology that sets you apart from everyone else. The more and more operators that I talk to are struggling in one, two, or even three of these areas. Operators that feel in control of their business and are able to run their business and make the investments that they need to have these systems in place. I promise you, done properly and with a little bit of effort, you too can get to that point. If you are running a multi-unit operations or even have a single unit operation and want to talk a little bit more, you can go to our website at cbsnorthstar.com. You can also go subscribe to the podcast, restauranttechnologyguys.com. We've been doing this for over 30 years, and we know what it takes to help you get to where you need to in all of these systems. We've got a lot more coming, so subscribe to the show, and thank you for watching.